to thank Thor Einerson for. Anyway, he wrote also, sorry, here's an update. I'd asked him what had happened, since Bill Stills went to Iceland. Not another word from Iceland. So he says, sorry, here's an update. This was the 11th, the day before I hear from Brigida, 2 days ago. I always had the intention to call you up on Skype, but as I lost my nighttime privacy due to changed conditions in my home, I somehow ended up postponing forever to contact you again. It had nothing actually to do with Bill Still, he says. I have this tendency of dropping out like that for no valid reasons, and I am very sorry for that. I want to inform you that our group is now called Icelandic Financial Reform Initiative, IFRI, and has put up a website, and he gives a domain which I don't think he gave it correctly, and I had some trouble finding it, so I won't mention the URLs he passes. So, but you can probably find it on Google. IFRI, Icelandic Financial Reform Initiative. There we focus on just 10 points. Excuse me for doing this. This is how I am, and I like this person, and I respect them, and I'm not picking apart their work, and nor am I picking on Brigida. I'm trying to lead them to the truth. If anything is solution, why did we do this? Why did we come up with these certain ideas? And it's just not like that. But he says there we focus on just 10 points that need to be changed in our financial system. Well, that bothers me. 10 points. Somebody picked a holy number, the sacred number 10 or something like that. Let's form a committee and come up with 10 points, which will be, the points that we'll start up with. Well, who the hell decides a number and for what purpose like that, A person who solves things doesn't just say, well, there's got to be 5 things, or there's got to be 7 things, or there's got to be 13 things. I like that number, whatever it is, that we need. And you see this in stupidly administered corporations and all. I want you to make a presentation on that next week, and I want you to come up with 10 PowerPoint slides. Why 10? Why 10? The guiding fact should always be, what are the number of points? You don't start out with a number, then fill them in. You're going about it the wrong way. That's, excuse my language, it's bullshit. So I see this 10 points and I'm thinking, slaps my face on both sides, and I'm thinking, well, my God, did it just happen to come out to 10 points? Or was there somebody who imposed this stricture on you, 10 points, or we decided it together? It had to be, it just smacks of something wrong, just like that. And I'm sorry, that's how things jump out on me, So as I read this, I said, there we focus on just 10 points that need to be changed in our financial system, only for the reason of opening the debate for scholars and the public. But still, why 10? These are points that are easy to understand and even to accept as obvious. Well, I'm going to dispute that too, and I'm going to even give you their 10 points, which are ridiculous. And you can see why these people are not making progress. Of course, we aim for much more radical changes, but this is how we start. Things are really happening very slowly here in Iceland, and I can understand your disappointment. However, a month ago, there was the largest protest in the history of Iceland. The support for the government dropped to 30%, and less than 10% trust the parliament. And rightly so, I imagine. I hope you are still interested. Why is their government and why is their parliament not contacting me? I hope you are still interested to find ways to change the financial system in Iceland. I don't know how many hours I have in this, I've got, these discussions are recorded and they're hours and hours long, I wasn't just interested. I prescribed what to do, why to do that, how that and that alone solved these issues. Of course I'm still interested. If the phone rings right now, I will answer it. But it's not ringing. The IFRI group has yet to put up the Skype meetings as we planned, and if you are interested, we still could do that. That is, that I offered, Thor was advocating that I be made a financial consultant or financial minister even of Iceland, and that I participate in their meetings real time over Skype, so that they raise these points, and they might have said, somebody said, well, let's have 10 points that need to be changed in our financial system. I said, excuse me, I will give you those 3 points right now. You're 40 years behind me, moving at my rate, which is far faster than you are about to move. People tell me regularly that I am light years ahead of any monetary reformist, and it's because I've thought about all of these issues and modeled them, how to solve these issues for every country of the world. We could still do that. So you could criticize the 10 points and suggest next steps. Well, that's great. He suggests that I could criticize the 10 points. Why? We've had some intimate discussions, and I like this guy. He's a sharp young man. And he's intuited that I would criticize them because of our discussions of singular solution. So right on, Thor. Right on. And I mean, this is the kind of person that makes solution happen. I'm not just a dreamer. I've worked these things out so diligently, for so long, and tested them against so many people. I mean, we're going to get to these things in future programs here, but I mean, there's a new political party forming in the United States, and I met these people in Idaho, and they're great people, and they suggested that this fellow had some further questions. He's studying my pages, and they're convinced that indeed I am the only solution. So could this guy, could I answer a few questions for these guys? I didn't wait for him to call me. I called him, and I asked what the questions were. And this fellow is asking me, and I'll play this answer. It's live as it happens. How would you finance something that doesn't depreciate in mathematically perfected economy, such as gold? The reason that I can answer these questions is I already have many times, many times, oftentimes tens of thousands of times. So anyway, Thor goes on. I hope you are still interested and that you can forgive me for not having contacted you all this time. I feel silly and ashamed for not having done that. I hope we can more easily stay in contact from now on. Well, of course, and it isn't that I have some particular partiality for Iceland. It's because the whole world is in this condition, and we need to break out of it. And Ellen Hodgson-Brown isn't prescribing the way. She hasn't developed this currency that she's writing about here on the heels of our radio broadcasts. We already have that currency. We already have the solution, and we don't need Ellen Hodgson-Brown, scam artist and plagiarist. So I wrote Thor back. I am very, very glad to hear from you. I am also at least a very little relieved that your dropping out of sight has nothing to do, as you say, with Bill Stills. Actually, he said some things which implied that that was the reason for the end. As if Bill Stills had filled in some blanks in the history, which, sorry, he just copied it from me and didn't even understand its real implications, but it seemed like a popular thing to do because, 100,000 people a month are visiting one guy's web pages, for many, many years. But we have some very disturbing things happening before us even if you are taking up a monetary reform initiative for Iceland. As you say, you are far from your goals. Likewise, however, what can we expect, as I just wrote Brigida also, if people think without qualification that there are alternate solutions to the categoric faults of the huge lie of economy? I have added your address to my private PFMPE recipients list, and I am about to post to that list the links for my first 3 radio broadcasts from TNS Radio. I do hope you can download and listen to them carefully, and that you can study them however much they may deserve to be studied. Perhaps yet you can listen to tomorrow's show as well. I was hoping they could, and we had some technical difficulties that postponed this show for almost an hour. Each program is 3+ hours, broadcast each Saturday, and I give the times and so on. Anyway, I have to get back to work now, but again, I extend my warmest regards to you. You might be the fellow who saves Iceland, and I salute you for that. So he'd actually written me in a previous letter in a different channel, and I caught up to that before I posted the response that I just did here. And anyway, he said, sorry, Mike, I just sent you a message to explain. Hope we can get in touch from now on. And I wrote back to that, Thorne, just to give you an idea that there is this discussion going on, and however tenuous this thread that, mathematically perfected economy is dangling from in Iceland, I'm doing what I can to keep it alive. And if you're a citizen of Iceland, you don't just need to encourage these people to pursue these arguments to their end, that is, to their invalidation or their proof, whichever the case may be. You need to listen to these programs yourselves and to have your neighbors do so, and to spread this word of mathematically perfected economy across Iceland. Because obviously you cannot necessarily count on these people to do this for you. Make up your own minds. You see, you can't just rely on Brigida, who's saying, oh, there's many solutions. If you leave it to that, your goose is cooked. I'm sorry. I'm trying to help your country, and I've got a lot of time in this myself. I'm not asking anything for this. I'm trying to help you. Because this finally gets this thing off my back, mathematically perfected economy. They finally did it, and then we can go on to the next thing. This is child's play, what we're doing here. We should have done this, 30 years ago, easily. 30 years ago. We should have done this 30 years ago. How different the world would be if we had. And we're waiting now till imminent failure, to the brink of terminal failure, leaving all these people in power who only want to perpetuate this thing, and you hope to do something different in Ireland, and somebody's got to have the courage to say, hey, follow me. We're doing this. Brigida, no, you don't get it. There's not many solutions. There's one solution. There's one form of money. There's one process of monetization, and one only of each, which serves our purposes. We don't have to have any gold. We have a country rich in resources, and we can do this. So I wrote Thor back. I said, Thor, in my opinion, you're a great young man, taking responsibility to pick up the ball as you have. I have invited Brigida to defend her assertion of potential alternate solutions on my new radio show. I have already covered the purported solutions of my plagiarists who have challenged my long ago proven proposition of singular solution. In my opinion, no intelligent person would even challenge that original proposition. Just the same, if you would like to present the workings and progress of your group on the show, I extend a perpetual invitation to do so. You are a very conscientious person. I know you have nothing to hide and that you ambitiously pursue the truth. The world needs more like you. So, whenever you are ready or inclined to present Iceland's state or case, I will do whatever I can to help you. It must be somewhat frustrating for you as well that these people aren't speaking to me. We have to do something about that. After all, I have 40+ years in this, and no one has disproven my original proposition of singular solution yet.